Hello, everybody, and welcome to another weekly update from me, Martin. I'm an Inkscape developer, hoping to develop Inkscape for users, so whatever users need Inkscape to be. First of all, I'm going to give a big shout out to my Patreons. As always, thank you so much for supporting my work, allowing me to continue to do these improvements. This week, let's get started with extensions. There's a couple of improvements to the extensions API. Basic stuff allowing units of things like widths and heights to be calculated in pixels. So if you're programming an extension, these units are predictable and more stable, I would say. And also allowed you to access the unit conversions directly from any element, which should make it easier. I also cleaned up the way in which you generate IDs for things like URLs. So if you're creating things like patterns or gradients and other things within an extension, it's much easier now to generate that URL string. The big extension project that I worked on was it's a researcher's dream, really, in terms of what it allows you to do. I worked with Jerome, who contracted me to help him write extensions for Inkscape. These aren't extensions which will be bundled into Inkscape, but they are extensions which will be available as free software for other researchers and people who are interested in this. What they allow you to do is run OR scripts and imagej scripts to generate the I don't know what they're called, like the images that go into your documents. So it could be anything from graphs to microscopy to other images that are generated from processing and analyzing data, and they can be brought in predictably and more easily than they would before. So instead of having to go to a command line and write a bunch of stuff, generate a PNG, import that PNG, now you can just create a rectangle, write your script inside Inkscape's description field, and the extension will run for you with all of the right kind of parameters of width and height from the rectangle, and allow you to basically enter in the right information and also edit it as well, because you can reapply and re-update the image. It's very exciting, got a lot of attention on Twitter. There seems to be an awful lot of researchers and others who are interested in this kind of improvement in Inkscape, which is great to see, because there are lots of different areas of user types of people that use Inkscape for different things. Researchers that write papers are just one of them, but it's great to see that they have the tools that they need to make their workflows easier. That's exciting. Also, I have to admit, I didn't write all of the code because my job was to help Jerome write the extensions. Basically provide the basis from which he could experiment and grow, which is great. I love the idea of being able to help new programmers and programmers that might not feel as confident, get into doing more programming and feeling like they can actually achieve their goals. That's good. I feel like a teacher. So with actual Inkscape itself this week, we had the beta 1 release. So that's it's now out there. I created the beta 1 graphic, the little skeleton version of the winning about screen, which was nice. First of all, I had to fix there's a resizing windows problem with the welcome screen that allows you to resize the window bigger than it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a fixed size. As soon as I turned it into a fixed size, the fixed size was 1,000 pixels wide. It was too big. It took me a day of researching GTK to figure out what was going wrong. Eventually, IRC, the GTK channel, managed to set me straight on what specifically was going on. I also had font issues with the letters. So the welcome screen has some text in it that basically says welcome. The problem is that Inkscape is translated, which means that if you're opening it in French or Spanish or Japanese or something else, then that text should be in that language, which means it can't be part of the image itself. So what I first attempted to do was lay on labels, right? GTK labels that sit on top of the image with the same colors and things that they would have had in the design, but that's good for translation, but it breaks things like the availability of fonts. Like you have to have the font that was used in the design installed on your computer. We tried that, and that's hard. We got most of it, actually. We got most of the fonts to install correctly. There's just some versions of Windows that it just didn't want to work on. And the other thing is that GTK is playing silly buggers with the sizes of the labels. So if you've got a high DPI display, or you've got some other factor like you're seeing impaired, so you set the labels on your computer to be bigger, then these things wouldn't occur. They would just crash into each other, wrecking the design. So thank you to everybody who reported and gave me screenshots and various other things to help me debug that problem. I had to go back to the drawing board and basically stop using text and start using paths, basically, the Inkscape's text to path, object to path. But I had to write a translation instruction guide for how translators can now have to create these SVG graphics for each one of the languages. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if translators are willing to put that work in to make this screen look nice. Hopefully it'll give them also flexibility, like the thing I show here with the Japanese version, where you can make it vertical text. That might be interesting. It might not be. It's not up for me to say, but at least the flexibility is there. So there's also copy and pasting fixes this week. So first of all, I fixed the pasting PNGs into tools like GIMP, where GIMP was asking for multiple types of formats. So it's asking for both SVG and PNG at the same time. Inkscape was confused. It wasn't giving it the right format. Now hopefully we'll be giving it a PNG correctly, so it'll be able to paste in the raster images that we have available. I also added the ability for you to paste into Inkscape text documents that are actually SVG. So we try and detect that you've pasted in an SVG text block. This is because some tools are giving us SVG documents as text, and Inkscape was just seeing the text plain MIME type and saying, oh, this is text, and then trying to paste that as a text block, right? And if you didn't have the text tool available, it wouldn't even give you a proper error message saying what went wrong. So I put the error message in, which is good, and that allowed you to copy and paste. You can actually open up an SVG document in a notepad, copy it, paste it directly into Inkscape as a graphic, which should be good. And it should also improve compatibility with tools that lie about like what format of graphic they have. And it shouldn't. I tested to make sure it didn't cause any issues with like other text pasting and other things, because these things are delicate. You never know. That's about it this week. I don't know if I'll be doing an update video next week because we have a positive COVID case, and I might be sick by next week. But I'll try and let everybody know, and hopefully it won't be too bad. But thank you all very much for watching, and I hope I get to see you all next week.